London calling New Zealand. Today, you're going to hear a New Zealander who particularly wants to tell you how he likes England. He is Dennis Glover of Christchurch, now a sub-lieutenant in the Navy, engaged on combined operations. He'll probably be best remembered in New Zealand as director of the Caxton Press in Christchurch. He recorded this talk the last time he was on leave in London, and he called it, I Like England.
Yes, I like England. You know, I never thought I would. In fact, I came over quite prepared and expecting to dislike the place and the people very much, and to put up with them rather as one does with tiresome relations. But now I've been here a while, I'm all for them. And it's not to be explained by saying that no one has tried to pick my pocket, or give me short change, or cheat me, or even to be particularly rude. But I haven't found any of the snobbery I was expecting to find, though I dare say it exists. And I haven't found anyone who takes our presence in England to fight in the war as a simple matter of course. What I have found is tremendous friendliness from all sorts of people, and an overwhelming number of invitations, even from comparative strangers, and spontaneous kindliness wherever I go. Maybe this is because I'm a sailor, and the English love their sailors. Maybe it's because 4 years of war have changed the English out of all recognition. Maybe it's because I'm on leave only for a few short days at a time, not long enough to get tired of people, or for them to get tired of me. I don't know about these things. All I can do is say that I've met some of the finest people in the world, and that I like the country. Don't think this hands across the sea business has touched me on a soft spot. I didn't always think like this. When I got here first, the shock was terrific. It was the middle of winter, when the sky presses down on everything like an old grey blanket, not over clean. It was cold and cheerless, and nearly always dark. The rows and rows of dingy grey buildings and sad-looking brick and the drably dressed people depressed me horribly. I couldn't understand a great deal of what they said in those parts, and I came to the immediate conclusion that only the most dismal and illiberal people could live in such dismal and illiberal surroundings. But the funny thing about the English is that they seem quite unconscious of their surroundings on the whole. Whether a building is bomb damaged or just falling down from old age, and I often had difficulty in telling which was which, they seem to take it as a matter of course. They've got a great capacity for putting up with things. Where at home we would say, pull the whole thing down and let's shut up something new, the English attitude seems to be a few more slates in the roof and it'll last us out. And this they seem to have been doing with varying degrees of success from 1500 onwards. Something they do want, by the way, is a new word for new. When they call a street or a college or something like that New Street or New College, you may expect to find something put up not later than the infancy of Queen Elizabeth. Some of the place names, of course, are so queer they defy parody. They give me a lot of amusement, and sometimes a little trouble. When I tried once to get to a place called Creeting, I found out that there were 3 of them. Creeting All Saints, Little Creeting, and Creeting Great Bucks, I think it was. And, of course, no one outside those 3 villages or parishes seemed to know or care which was which. It wouldn't be minding their own business if they did. Perhaps we get our revenge with Maori place names. But what is a New Zealander to make of such names as Classics, or Wrongs, or Wittering? On the other hand, where in New Zealand would you find the old pub called as a matter of course the Artichoke, the Bug and Blanket, the Drunken Duck, or the Live and Let Live? The Live and Let Live is a good one, because I don't think any phrase could be better to describe the English way of life. Mind you, some of the actual machinery of English democracy strikes me as rather antiquated compared with our own. It takes so long to get things done. But in their tolerance and broad-mindedness, in their insistence that the other chap should have a point of view and let you know about it, they leave us far behind. There is not only room for a diversity of opinion, even in wartime, but a positive expectation that it should be aired. You don't find tempers rising when even the most impossible things are said, in the way they do at home. The English are sure of themselves. They present their diversity to the world as they can afford to. I don't think New Zealand is at all sure of itself in this way, and we tend to pound our opinions into one stodgy lump of mediocrity, fearful of making the wrong impression. Not that there isn't a lot wrong with England, not that we can't teach them a little, in spite of the lot we have to learn. You know, I always thought the English were too complacent or too superior even to show much curiosity about the outer world or the distant dominions, but they're not. People here want to know about us. I only wish I could answer all the questions I've been asked. And it's not a patronizing interest, as many New Zealanders might be inclined to suspect. Nor are they, by the way, as reserved as we've been led to expect. In fact, they're very self-conscious these days about being misunderstood. And you can sometimes spend a lot of time listening to the English explaining all about themselves in case you've got them wrong. I seem to be talking a lot about the English, with nothing about the Scottish. One thing I've learned is that you've got to keep them separate. Not that they don't display many of the same characteristics, especially the solid ones of determination and good humour. But I haven't got over being well jumped on when I told someone in Edinburgh, quite innocently, that it was the finest city I'd seen in England.